Well, I guess if they can put Jason, Leprechaun, and Vin Diesel into space, I mean, really, why can't they put a haunted house at the bottom of a lake? Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. Tonight we are talking The Deep House, written and directed by Alexander Bastilio and Julian Murray. They brought us, most notably, the movie Inside from 2007. If you haven't seen that movie yet, do yourself a favor and go watch it. It is a gory good time. I promise you, you will absolutely love it. The movie stars Camille Rowe and James Jagger, who play Tina and Ben in this movie. They are a pair of French YouTubers who kind of specialize in underwater exploration videos, as well as like haunted houses and stuff like that. So they get wind of this, I think it was a village or a town that got caught in a flood. And there's supposedly supposed to be this mansion at the bottom of this lake that survived the flood and is still more or less intact. So they set off, to this location to find it in France. And when they initially get there, they come to the lake, but it's like covered in tourists, like just swimming on the beach and stuff. And, they're like, oh, well, we must have like been misled or whatever. But then they come across Pierre and he says, no, it's actually there. I'll take you to the other side of the lake where the house actually is. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a trek, but whatever. And then you can dive into it and go from there. But something's up with this Pierre guy. He looks kind of sketchy. And he is. So basically the first act is them just kind of, you get some background history on them about, how they go into these haunted places and stuff like that. You also learn that Tina is a little uncomfortable with scuba diving potentially into this house. She's really nervous, and then also that Pierre, who kind of leads them in the right direction, is a bit of a sketchball. That's pretty much the first act. Second act is they dive into the lake and they find the house and then they manage to get into it. Even though it's all boarded up, they do find one window at the very top that they can enter in through. And right at the halfway mark is when all the shit starts to hit the fan. Now, I don't want to give too much away in this movie. I mean, I'm actually kind of disappointed with the trailer because I felt that the trailer actually gave away more than they should have. Now, I know when they edit things like that, they want to make it so they draw an audience in. And I get it, but they did give some key points away in the trailer. So I'm not going to talk too much about the plot. I mean, that's just it. These two YouTubers dive into this house and then all hell breaks loose. But I want to talk just very quickly about how awesome it must have been and how much effort must have went in to making this movie. Now, I don't think this is a huge budget movie. I know that Paramount was involved in it there, and also I think Blumhouse may have had something to do with it as well. But I don't think the budget was anything massive. But I need to see a special feature, edition of a DVD when it comes out, or a Blu-ray, because I want to see, how they film this inside. Like it's incredible for a low budget movie to be able to pull this off. Like the set pieces in this house were fantastic, and especially in a setting like this where it's dark and claustrophobic, but the water's murky, and it must have just been a pain in the ass with stuff floating around because they're inside this house. Like it's not even a house, it's a mansion, more or less. And just all the stuff that is inside the house, just to kind of bring it out so it's not just a blurred mess, was just fantastic in itself, really. And then to have these two characters, I don't think they were given like a huge script to work off. I think a lot of their lines were ad-libbed, especially in the third act, because I was really getting tired of Tina because it was almost like every line that she said was like, Ben, where are you? Where are you, Ben? Ben, where are... Like every line that she said. And I just don't think they could come up on the spur of the moment anything else to say. They do have conversations back and forth because they have these specialized masks where they can talk to each other, right? I don't know much about scuba diving, but obviously things have come a long way, since the days of just throwing in a mouthpiece and a pair of goggles. I mean, they've got like a full mask on here where they can talk and see each other, which really helps too, because obviously you have to have some dialogue in this movie. And the way the masks are set up, you can see their facial expressions. So when they do get scared, I mean, that helps us, buy in and care about the characters as well, as opposed to just seeing a face mask with no expression on it. But no, you can clearly see their eyes and parts of their face when they are afraid. There's a couple good jump scares in here. I'm not a huge jump scare guy. I don't really care for it. But in a movie style like this, you kind of have to have some. And the ones that are in here are fairly decent. I'll tell you, like, there's a lot of things I appreciated about this movie. But the one cool thing, and again, I guess this isn't really a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but there is a man and a woman chained up in the basement of this mansion. And when they come across them, the woman opens her eyes. Okay. And then they start moving around and all that sort of stuff. And all I could think about while that was happening was when I was a kid watching the movie Zombie, when they're in the ocean and that zombie battles the shark. That's all I could think about. And I just kind of, it blew my mind when I was a kid, and it was blowing my mind in this movie too. Just these people walking around chasing after these scuba divers, like literally walking in this house in the water. It was incredible. And, I don't know, again, how they got away with it, whether they digitally removed it. I'm not sure. But they even went so far as to when these people were in this house, like they didn't have air bubbles coming from their mouth to show that they weren't breathing, so they weren't alive. So it was just things like that. Like, there's so many things that you'll see in this movie that are incredible just for the fact that it's filmed underwater. It's amazing. Like, the story itself isn't anything new. It's kind of lackluster, to be honest. It's just well, again, I don't want to give it away, but I mean, when you watch it, it's like the story isn't anything special, okay? But the fact that it's underwater at the bottom of this lake. Now, obviously, I'm assuming this was a set piece, but still, it was incredible, and I enjoyed it. It's got an hour and 25 runtime. I hate to say this, but there were some scenes in the second act that may have gone on just a bit too long. Like the scene where they initially dive into the lake till they get to the house. I know what they were doing is it's pretty cool if you're a diver too, to see all the stuff that's going on in this lake. I think they may have dragged that out just a little bit. They could have got to the house a little bit quicker. But I don't know, man. I like this movie. Again, the story is nothing special, okay? But just the effort that must have been put into this low-budget movie is fantastic. I liked it. To give it a rating, probably give it a 6, maybe a 6.5. Again, the story and some of the third act there, again, I think they were ad-libbing a lot of their lines. It almost got irritating just with Tina and her just repetition of, Ben, are you there? Are you there, Ben? Where are you, Ben? Are you okay, Ben? Like, I don't know. But if you can look past that and just look at everything else that is awesome in this movie, I think you'll really enjoy it. And again, there are some jump scares in there too. Again, not a big fan of jump scares, but I'll give them a pass for this movie just for the sheer effort that was put into it. It was pretty crazy. So anyways, guys, The Deep House, definitely check it out. I believe it comes out November 5th on streaming platforms. I'm not sure which ones, but definitely check it out. And let me know what you think. Were you impressed by this movie? I was. Again, story, not so much, but just sheer effort, absolutely. So anyways, check it out November 5th. Please come back and let me know what you think, guys. And as always, until next time,